President Bola Tinubu salutes Nigerians for their resilience and unflinching spirit as he marks the second anniversary of his administration. Speaker of the House of Representatives Abbas Tajuddin says, Nigeria is on track with President Bola Tinubu piloting affairs under the APC-led federal government. Plus, House of Representatives launches investigation into alleged illegal degree awarding institutions. Good evening and welcome to NTA Parliamentary News. I am Ene Ojonugba. President Bola Tinubu has saluted Nigerians for their resilience and unflinching spirit as he marks the second anniversary of his administration. He reminded Nigerians that 2 years ago, he was entrusted with the sacred responsibility to lead Nigeria at a time of historic challenges. At resumption of office, 2 major reforms were undertaken: removal of fuel subsidy and elimination of multiple foreign exchange windows. While acknowledging the bump in the cost of living, the president observed that undeniable progress has been made. Inflation has begun to ease, with rice prices and other staples declining. The oil and gas sector is recovering. Rig counts are up by over 400% in 2025 compared to 2021, and over $8 billion in new investments have been committed. The president noted that agriculture and food security are top priorities of the Renewed Hope agenda, and as such had launched aggressive initiatives to boost local food production, support farmers, and stabilize food prices on infrastructure. He noted that the federal government has continued with major road construction and rehabilitation projects across all geopolitical zones. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin says, Nigeria is on track with President Bola Tinubu piloting affairs under the APC-led federal government. Congratulating President Tinubu on the occasion of his second year in office, the Speaker says the President has demonstrated good leadership and courage, beginning with the removal of petrol subsidy, leading to savings exceeding 1 trillion naira within 2 months of inauguration. He also praised the harmonized exchange rates policy and boosting of the country's foreign exchange reserves beyond $40 billion, anchored by record oil output exceeding 2.3 million barrels per day. Speaker Abbas emphasizes that executive-legislature synergy in the past 2 years has empowered lawmakers to deliver tangible improvements in health, education, and infrastructure. He therefore urges Nigerians to continue supporting the Tinubu-led administration as the president implements bold reforms for short and long-term gains. In the same vein, Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, while congratulating President Tinubu on his second anniversary in office, notes that the student loan scheme is a lifeline for thousands of beneficiaries. Kalu expresses confidence that the Tinubu-led administration will continue to drive positive change, urging Nigerians to support the government. The House of Representatives has turned its legislative spotlight on Nigeria's foreign service, calling for government intervention to redeem the reported poor state of Nigerians' missions abroad, particularly in the United States of America. The House also urges the federal government to immediately appoint Nigeria's permanent representative at the United Nations. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikpen reports.
House Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda, in a motion, describes the infrastructural conditions of Nigeria's missions in New York, Washington, D.C., and Atlanta as appalling following a recent oversight visit by the Nigeria-US Parliamentary Friendship Group.
The House notes that such lapses as well as delays in appointing foreign diplomats could compromise Nigeria's global reputation.
For 2 years running, Nigeria has failed to replace Nigerian permanent representative to the United Nations and Nigerian High Commissioner to the United Nations, who chairs the Committee on Peace. This dereliction, among other issues, have created a negative perception of Nigeria globally and will potentially harm our aspiration for a permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council. Nigeria's international image is severely undermined by such appalling neglect, mismanagement, and administrative decay in key diplomatic outposts, especially in the United States.
In a separate motion, lawmakers lamented the living conditions of internally displaced persons in various camps across the country while calling for a structured reintegration plan.
That will be providing cash assistance, food and clothing, and psychological and emotional counseling.
It must be that the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, in collaboration with the relevant or respective state government, should work hand in hand.
This motion is referred to the Committees on Emergency and Disaster Preparedness and State and Local Government Committee for further legislative action.
On security, the House urged the Inspector General of Police to establish a mobile police camp in Bakori local government area of Katsina State to ward off bandits and kidnappers.
Lack of a mobile camp in Gugod has hindered the response to distress calls and increased violence, necessitating the establishment of a dedicated camp.
Among bills that scaled second reading is a bill for an act seeking 15% women representation in armed forces recruitment and personnel appointments.
And ensure that the establishment of a unit to monitor and maintain records of gender-responsive compliance program and disaggregated data collation and for related matters.
The House has adjourned plenary till the 17th of June 2025 to enable lawmakers observe the Salah holiday as well as the June 12 Democracy Day activities. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikwen, NTA News.
The House of Representatives is launching an investigation into the alleged existence of illegal degree awarding institutions in Benin Republic serving Nigerian students. In continuation of the investigative hearing, Ministers of Foreign Affairs and that of Youths assured the Joint Committee of Collaboration to end the ugly trend. National Assembly correspondent Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
It is now a week after the appearance of one Abdul Umar, a principal witness in an alleged certificate racketeering saga. This time around, Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Youth Development appeared before the committee.
We want to hear from the institution itself to give them fair hearing, because this is needed because for both sides, on the part of Nigeria, our name has been smeared. If not handled properly, this would cast doubt as to the quality of the certificates our graduates are parading. On their part also, their names are also smeared because they will go down in history as a country selling fake degrees.
Questions bordering on the existence of the degree awarding institutions and interface with the Benin Embassy officials in Nigeria to a fact-finding mission were on top during the sitting.
We are very much at your disposal to provide all necessary support that would aid the investigation. Let us know exactly what you would want. We rest assured we'll take it up.
Even as of today, we have different input about putting an libel reform, presidential reform, into the body.
Vice chancellors of private universities also made their submissions, briefing the committee with their nominal role and academic status. The investigative hearing adjourned thereafter. From the National Assembly, Mohammed Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
The lawmaker representing Abeokuta South Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Maruf Afolabi Afuapi, says the commitment of the members of the 10th National Assembly extends beyond legislation to concrete national and community interventions to engender good governance in the country. This was during a community engagement with members of his constituency in Abeokuta, Ogun State, where he promised to continuously advance the welfare of his constituents through key legislative actions. Yemi Dalemo reports.
The engagement with key stakeholders in the Abeokuta Federal Constituency afforded the lawmaker the opportunity to inform members of the constituency of his efforts at the Federal House of Representatives. He explained that as part of his core responsibilities, he has sponsored a series of bills aimed at improving national governance and local development. Notable among them are the National Farm Settlements Agency Bill, aimed at revitalizing the agricultural sector, and the Police Act Amendment Bill, which seeks to improve policing in Nigeria. Other legislative initiatives highlighted by Honorable Afuakwe include the National Council for Arts and Culture Amendment Bill and the National Arts Commission of Nigeria Amendment Bill. He also informed that he has initiated motions to address issues such as the provision of stable electricity for consumers and the promotion of traditional fabric industries like Adire and Kampala as part of his cultural advocacy.
We have arable land. What was the taste to produce what we can eat in Nigeria? So we need to focus on agric. On NACO bill, the argument on NACO bill is I've gone to Mura severally, and I believe that what NACO is supposed to be doing is regulatory function.
Hundreds of his constituents received cash gifts and professional tools, including motorcycles, sewing machines, hair dryer, among others, to enhance their livelihood, stimulate economic growth, and reduce unemployment in the constituency.
Member of the House of Reps representing Abeokuta South is that he should not change. He should continue to be what he has been, the lover of his people, because that's what God has made him all along.
For me, others of my colleagues are benefiting from him since the beginning of his tenure.
Talking about this project, our Honorable saw the need for him to also key into the agenda of our amiable governor, and decided to actually come in. That is the way to actually be a good representative.
Thank you for what he has done, because we are in need of this classroom, even borrow. There is no water in this community at all.
Lawmakers also donated a block of 6 classrooms to his alma mater, St. John's High School, Kuto, Abeokuta, 3 classrooms and a borehole to Methodist Nursery and Primary School, Ogbe, toilet facility to St. Peter's Clever Nursery and Primary School, Okeefon, and NUD Primary School, Okealeji, Etoko, Abeokuta. Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
Let's now join Chairman House Committee on Youths, Martins Essen, for insights on the legislature and executive relationship into 2 years of present administration. It's glad to have you. How would you describe the relationship between the executive and legislative arms in the past 2 years?
The relationship between the executive and the legislature is the kind of relationship that will enable us work for our people. Okay, that is what I say about it. You know that our oversight responsibility is like the last hope of the common man, and should we derail from our oversight responsibilities, we'll have a lot of problems. The parliament is like a watchdog for the masses, common man of this country. So we have been alive to our responsibilities. Where the executive gets it right, we commend them. Where they don't get it right, we are quick to tell them that, look, you are not getting it right in this particular aspect. So that has been the relationship.
How has the legislative engagement on oversight over the executive been? And what impact has this had on governance?
The declaration of the state of emergency in Rivers State, which is a very recent document and debate that was done by Parliament. You saw that when that came, by the time we sent it back to the executive, we did a lot of very ambitious amendments. Okay, one of it was when the document came, the Federal Executive Council, the Rivers State Sole Administrator was asked to report to the Federal Executive Council, and by Parliament we said no, it is the Parliament that is supposed to do that oversight function, and we amended that, and that, so that is how we work, and it is for the interest of the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
How has the administration engaged with the legislature on key policy initiatives?
This particular executive has maximum regard for the legislature, and they know the place of the legislature, and the legislature also know the place of the executive. So by and large, I don't think the principle of separation of powers has been this entrenched like it has in this particular assembly and particular administration. So the principle of the separation of power is at its peak.
Thank you for your time. We now go on a short break. The news continues shortly.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the marketing department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
This is NTA Parliament News. Thank you for staying with us. The Director General, National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILS, Professor Abubakar Suleiman, has reaffirmed the commitment of the Institute in supporting initiatives that will add value to the performance of the public sector. Professor Suleiman stated this when he received the Director, Intergovernmental Relations, Department of Federal Inland Revenue Service, Dr. Umaru Idris Ahmed, who led a 6-man delegation on courtesy visit at the permanent site of the Institute. Commending the landmark initiative of the FIRS management for establishing the Intergovernmental Relations Department, DG Niels said, Nigeria as a great country can survive without depending on crude oil if the instrumentality of tax is well explored. He recalled that Niels was the first institute to convene a 3-day retreat on tax reforms imperative last year in Akwa Ibom State, paving way for its inclusion in the Presidential Tax Reform and Fiscal Policy Committee. He thanked the FIRS delegation for the visit, which coincided with his 6 years in office, assuring that Niels is open to working with FIRS for national interests. Delta State's Governor, Sheriff Oborewori, has approved the payment of consolidated legislative salary structure of the parliamentary staff and other staff of the Delta State House of Assembly. Godfrey Nzukwe reports that the approval came during the presentation of affairs of the state to the State House of Assembly.
Presenting the affairs of the state under his administration in the past 2 years, the Governor, Sheriff Oborewori, stated that the midterm report reflects the philosophy of the more agenda of his administration, which is driven by the core values of servant leadership, transparency, accountability, innovation, and excellence. He gave a brief analysis of the progress made and an idea of what to expect in the remaining 2 years of his administration. He spoke extensively on such things like social protection and intervention initiatives, public sector efficiency, road infrastructure, education, students assistance program, rural development, urban and rural water supply, healthcare, housing, local government administration, security, public financial management, and federal collaboration.
In the face of the prevailing economic challenges, we have remained deliberate, intentional, and proactive in providing a safety net for vulnerable groups through well-targeted social protection initiatives. A total of 266,737 people have been empowered through the following interventions: the Delta Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus, DGES program, is a World Bank supported economic stimulus designed to provide support for poor and vulnerable persons while ensuring economic resilience. Through the various platforms of the DGES, a total of 247 people have been empowered with stipends, grants, and agricultural inputs. This is in addition to the release of ₦1 billion farmer fund for the Abuja Park. This initiative empowered 2,000 farmers, food production, livestock, and aquaculture. We also distributed fertilizers for farmers across the federal government's area of the state in support of our drive to ensure food security. Women empowerment and skill acquisition program is a gender-responsive program that promotes inclusive growth by empowering women, skills, and startup.
Dear colleagues, you will agree with me that His Excellency Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Francis Olubudo, Governor of our dear state, has done excellently well for his transformational leadership and strategic financial management. I must commend him just as the House has agreed to commend him. Your Excellency, thank you for the beautiful work you are doing for our dear state. Thank you and God bless you.
The governor concluded his presentation with the approval of the payment of Consolidated Legislative Salary Structure (CONLES) effective June 2025. The House adjourned plenary to Tuesday, June 3, 2025. In Asaba, Godfrey Nzekwe, NTA News.
The Speaker of Ogun State is advocating the establishment of the State Boundary Commission in the state to develop strategies to exploring historical documents to resolve recurring boundary disputes between the state and neighboring states. This was during a fact-finding visit to communities along the boundary between Ogun and Oyo states experiencing boundary-related disputes. Yemi Dalemo reports on these and other engagements of the lawmakers.
The Speaker and his team, during an inspection tour to disputed communities, explained that the proposed boundary commission will allow for non-tenure continuity of coordinated records on lands and historical documents that will seamlessly engage a national boundary commission on boundary-related issues in Ogun State.
We have passed a resolution before that we need a boundary commission. You domicile the issue of boundary into the governor, a deputy governor's office. There is no clear cut definition. That is why we need a boundary commission or boundary committee. It may be a directorate, it may be a department, it may even be headed by a PS or whatever, or a director. So that each time there is any issue, there will be continuity.
Appealing to everybody, the National Boundary Commission, the Ogun State Committee on Boundary Disputes, even other local governments and all the local governments in Ogun State have been asked to constitute a committee on boundary disputes, which we have done also in other local governments. So we believe that with the concerted effort of everybody, the Speaker, the House of Assembly, the Governor, the Deputy Governor, everybody, even the community members, we believe that there will be lasting solutions to this problem.
In another development, the House Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, headed by Jemili Akinbade, who embarked on the statewide tour of local governments in the state to ensure transparency and accountability in public funds management, tasked chairmen of local government visited, including Ikene, Odogbolu, Imeko, and others, to adhere strictly to due process in budget implementation to promote transparency in their operations.
The implication of this oversight function is to facilitate the activities of the executive in the local government. And the essence of it is to monitor, scrutinizing, review, and evaluation of all the projects, either completed or uncompleted, and then to enforce them on due process.
Meanwhile, the lawmakers at plenary constituted members of its tender committee, which has its Speaker Oludaisi Elemide and Deputy Bolanle Latifat Ajayi as chairman, and other principal officers of the House as members. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
A bill for an act to repeal the Rent Control and Recovery of Residential Premises Law 2007 and reenact the Tenancy Act 2025 has passed second reading on the floor of the Kogi State House of Assembly. This was after deliberations on the bill sponsored by member representing Ankpa 1 State Constituency, Akus Lawal. Jacob Sani reports.
The bill for an act to repeal the Rent Control and Recovery of Residential Premises Law 2007 and reenact the Kogi State Tenancy Law and other matters connected 2025 resurfaced after passing its first reading.
The Right Honorable Speaker and distinguished honorable members, from the year 2007 to date, there has been no regulation or gazette of the state published and signed under the hands of the governor classifying the types and categories of residential accommodations, let alone any specification of the standard and the maximum rent that should be payable in the state in line with what the law prescribed. The result of that omission is that owners of premises, that is the landlords, have become lord unto themselves.
It's a bill that it shouldn't be centered on the city alone.
For security, we'll have a sign of relief if this bill is being signed into law.
The law to repeal the Rent Control and Recovery of Residential Premises Law 2007 and enact the Kogi State Tenancy Law and other matters connected thereto 2025, second reading.
A letter nominating members for the Kogi State Judicial Service Commission from Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo was presented to the House by the Speaker, Umar Aliu Yusuf. The House also received the resolution of the House on the environmental pollution in some communities in the state. Two petitions that border on blockage of the access road from a group known as Youth Vanguard Lokoja were presented to the House by the Chairman House Standing Committee on Public Petitions, Bode Ogumola, representing Ogori Mangogo State Constituency. Deputy Speaker Comfort Egwaba, at plenary, thanked Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo, the Atai Gala and her colleagues for their support during her confinement as Iganya Atai Igala recently. A minute silence was observed in honor of the son of a former member of the House, John Adele. Jacob Sani, NTA News.
That's our package this evening. You can follow us for news updates and on our social media handles showing on your screen. Thank you for watching and have a great evening. I am Ene Ojonugba. Bye for now.